So, today we're going to dive into a couple of ancient ideas that might just hold the key to understanding, well, the very patterns of our lives, why we do the things we do, and maybe more importantly, how we can actually change them. You ever have that feeling like you're just stuck in a loop? Maybe it's snapping back with the same response in an argument, or picking up that same habit you swore you'd quit, or just facing the same kind of challenge over and over again. It's something we all go through, and the reason why it happens is, well, it's pretty eye-opening. All right, to get to the bottom of these patterns, we have to start with a word that, let's be honest, a lot of us think we know, but maybe not in its purest, simplest form. It all starts with karma. So the first thing we need to get straight is that karma isn't some kind of cosmic scoreboard telling up good points and bad points. Nope, it literally just means action. Every single thing you do, a kind word, a fleeting thought of frustration, getting up to get a glass of water, that's karma. It's just the neutral universal law of cause and effect. Simple as that. Think of it this way. Every action you take, every bit of karma, is like dropping a small pebble into a still pond. And it's not really about the splash it makes, right? It's about the ripples that spread out from it, the ones that affect everything else that comes after. That's the consequence of your action. So, if karma is the pebble we drop, then what exactly are those ripples? What's the lasting mark that action leaves behind? Well, this brings us to our second big idea. And this is where those life patterns really start to take shape. It's called samskara. A samskara is essentially the imprint, this subtle little groove that every single one of your actions, your karmas, leaves on your mind and your energy. You could think of it like the memory of the action, but one that gets etched deep into your system. Here's a really powerful way to picture it. Imagine you're walking across a big field of tall grass. The first time you do it, you barely leave a trace. But what happens if you walk that exact same path every single day? Pretty soon, a clear trail gets worn into the ground, right? A samskara is exactly like that. The more you repeat an action, the deeper that mental and emotional groove becomes, making it almost second nature to just walk that same path again. So let's put them side by side. You've got karma, that's the action, the cause, the pebble you drop into the water right now. And then you have samskara. That's the impression, the effect, the ripples that spread out from that pebble, and the groove that it leaves for the future. Okay, and this is the crucial part. These two things, karma and samskara, they don't just exist separately. They are locked together in this incredibly powerful, self-reinforcing loop. This cycle is the engine that actually creates those life patterns we were talking about from the very beginning. Here's exactly how it works. Let's say you get really angry in traffic. That's your action, your karma. That little outburst of anger leaves a small imprint, a samskara. Now, the next time you're in a stressful situation, that little samskara makes it just a tiny bit easier, a little more likely that you'll get angry again. And every time you do, that groove gets deeper and deeper until that angry reaction becomes almost completely automatic. And that is the light bulb moment. That feeling of being stuck on repeat, it's totally real. It's this cycle of your old samskaras influencing your current karmas, which then turn around and create and strengthen those exact same samskaras. It's a feedback loop just running in the background of your life. So if this cycle is so powerful, does that mean we're just stuck in it forever? Absolutely not. In fact, just understanding how the mechanism works is the first step to taking it apart. We absolutely have the power to step in and take back the controls. This is the big question, isn't it? How do we stop walking down those same old worn-out paths in the grass? How do we stop digging those grooves deeper, especially when they're not taking us where we want to go? The answer is both unbelievably simple and at the same time incredibly profound. The master key, the one thing that unlocks this entire cycle, is a single tool: awareness. Just bringing your conscious attention to what's happening is what gives you the power to change it. So what does that actually look like day to day? Well, awareness itself stops you from just acting on autopilot. Then you have something like mindfulness, which gives you that precious little pause, that moment where you actually notice the pull of an old pattern before you act on it. Practices like meditation can actually help to smooth out and even dissolve some of those old, deep grooves. And most importantly, conscious action, where you deliberately choose a different response, starts carving new, positive, and empowering samskaras. You literally start creating new paths for yourself.
When you start to live with this kind of awareness, what happens is you shift from being sort of a prisoner of your past patterns to becoming the architect of your own future. You stop letting those old ripples from yesterday dictate your present moment. You truly become the creator of your own destiny, one conscious action at a time.
So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question to really think about. Take a look at the pebbles you're dropping in the water today. The words you're speaking, the thoughts you're entertaining, the actions you're taking. Are they creating the kinds of grooves, the kinds of samskaras that lead toward more joy, more compassion, and more growth? The power and the choice is always yours.